the worst year for a lot of us for our mental as well as physical health. So joining us this morning is best-selling author, coach, and fitness expert, Lisa Goldenthal.
Hello and welcome. I'm Lisa G, your host. You're at the top of your game, yet the game is changing faster than ever. Strategies that got you here aren't the ones that'll keep you here. The pressure is relentless, and the fear of obsolescence looms large. That's why I'm here. Welcome to the new podcast series, Disrupted: How to Be Gritty and Unlock Performance. This is your chance where I sit down with today's tops in business, mindset, wellness, and success to help you master disruption and thrive.
Thanks for coming, and we'll see you soon.
She's a woman of impact, an award-winning global business leader, best-selling author, keynote speaker on a mission to eradicate burnout at scale. As the CEO of Burnout Business and creator of EnergyScape Method, she's leading a revolution gracefully, productivity, kind leadership, and unlocking human potential. Her journey spans tech, entrepreneurship, corporate leadership at WPP and Publicis Group, and deep expertise in executive coaching and energy healing, delivering a game-changing workshop for Google, Amazon, Snap, and beyond, while solo parenting her 4 children. We're here to talk about how success doesn't have to come at the cost of well-being. Welcome to the podcast, Bianca Best.
Thank you so much for having me, Lisa G. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
I'm thrilled about this conversation because so many people are thinking they can wear burnout as this badge of honor, and the crisis is real, but can we actually beat it?
Yeah, I mean, the crisis is absolutely real, and sadly it's worsening, which is why I really devote my life and work to teaching that actually we all have the power within ourselves to make sure that we don't burn out. And that's really what I'm trying to emphasize with my work, that it's up to us to self-manage, because we're in a crazy societal condition where we're in a realm of frenetic productivity, and there's a misconception that being busy is cool. And actually being busy means that we've lost a sense of control. And I started training myself many years ago that when people said, "How are you?" I wasn't going to answer and go, "I'm slammed, I'm stacked, I'm busy." But I was just going to say, "I'm great, I'm on top of my life." And that was my intention, to make sure that I was on top of my life, because the task lists, the to-do lists, the endless amount of work, that's going to carry on. There's always going to be an avalanche of work for us to do. And especially with retirement ages increasing, we're going to be working a long time, but it's up to us to really self-direct in such a way that we're gracefully productive and that we're not at risk of burnout, because we're managing ourselves and that never-ending to-do list.
Wow, I really was excited about this conversation because I've been there myself, and I just had to set some really firm boundaries with my iPhone and computer. They couldn't jump in the bed with me and follow me around on the weekend. And I am actually more productive when I take weekends off and travel.
Oh, it's so important. And actually, I always tell this example when I do my keynotes. Roger Bannister, just before he broke the 1-minute mile record, he wasn't on the track, pounding the track again and again and practicing and practicing. He had a 2-week holiday. So he went off, he went hiking with his friends, then he came back and did the race and broke all historic records. But he understood that very delicate balance between stress and rest, and how necessary it is for us to rejuvenate and take take breaks. So you're absolutely right to be having your weekends off, because of course you're rejuvenated by Monday morning.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have found that to be true in running myself. I love the parallel between sports and also performance and productivity. So I love that you mentioned the graceful productivity. What is the secret to getting more done with less stress?
Well, it's around allowing ourselves to enter a state of grace where we detach from that hustle culture, that freneticism of being always on, and we're more mindful around the work that we're doing, the environments that we're in, how we nourish ourselves, and we just look at life through this holistic lens. And the reason I've come to this place of really heralding graceful productivity as key to how we all soar and don't struggle is through my own career of just juggling 4 children, a business that I grew. I'm an accidental entrepreneur. I fell into entrepreneurship and spent a decade growing a business where I really learned that with the right energy, focus, and attention, you can create anything you want. So I had a decade running a business, I sold that. Then I fell into corporate. I spent the past 12 years in corporate whilst running a business on the side. I'm an author. I'm doing all those fun things you described at the beginning. And I'm in a place of grace now where I can have my impact on the world gracefully. But initially, from my late 20s, probably into my late 30s, I kept burning out. I kept hitting wall after wall. And I never dulled my ambitions. I always had big, shiny goals, and I would lean into them and chase them and be pushing hard because I was excited. But I kept hitting walls and I kept burning out. And so I spent many years trying to understand, why am I burning out? Why can't I manage this? I'm excited. I want to do all this. But I was misdirecting energy. I was misspending time, and I wasn't addressing emotional unrest. So I got to a place where I really realized that for me to be in a harmonious state, to be able to contribute to life in my best possible way, it was a blend of managing the physical, of managing the mental, and managing the emotional. And once I started to hone the way I was operating in the world across the physical, the mental, and the emotional, I started to be able to do everything I wanted to do, everything that really mattered, to an even higher quality. And I was able to have even more fun. And so this is what I've bottled up and what I write about and talk about in all my keynotes. And I host retreats and I coach and I teach women and men and anyone that's an ambitious soul how we can all get into this place of graceful productivity when we do the work and go within before we start trying to affect the outer. And it's not that hard, but it takes conscious effort. And now I'm on this mission to try and infuse the working world with more graceful productivity.
Well, I love your mission. If anyone can teach us how to not get burned out after the kind of schedule that you've kept, you are the go-to expert. That is just a crazy amount of stuff. And I think everything is energy, how you show up, how you lead your company, how you lead your team, how you lead your family. It's the new currency of leadership. And you've worked with some powerhouse companies like Google and Amazon. What is the number one shift that leaders need to make to protect their energy and increase their team's performance?
Well, energy, of course, like you say, is everything. And there's so many studies that prove the leaders that exude positive relational energy are the ones that have the happiest, highest performing teams. So it's infectious. When you're giving off a good, positive vibe, then funnily enough, everybody bounces off that. And you can really create momentum and motivation just by your own energy being very solid, very steady, but positive. So it's so important that we understand the energy that we're emitting out into the world, but also how we actually manage ourselves energetically. Because if we're depleted, then we're never going to be able to achieve those ambitions if we don't have the right energy to do it. And in my coaching practice, it's one of the most common complaints I have. People come to me and say, help, I want to live my bright, shiny life, but I just haven't got the energy to do it. And so we unpack that and try and understand, well, where are the depletions? And the most important thing to understand about energy is that we have the control to make the energy that we need and to deplete the energy that we have. But it's up to us to work with our energetic flows and not see it as something outside of ourselves. It's not a sort of push, pull, lever, but we've got to flow with how we create our own energy and how we consume whatever we're consuming has to energize us. And we need to be very aware of our unique bio-individuality. So a lot of the work that I teach around sort of energy management, energy healing, but really energy management to have impact, is to learn to understand ourselves, because we are bio-individual. So what energizes you might not be what energizes me. And what really depletes me might energize you, for instance. So there's never one size fits all. So I teach this again and again, that we've got to understand where we get our energy from. What is it that energizes us, and how do we rejuvenate ourselves? And what is stealing our energy? Because if you're doing a job every day that just drains you, and your very soul is shrinking, you're never going to be able to thrive, and you're never going to be motivated to really give it your all, because it's shrinking your energy. But it's up to us to really identify what is it that makes us feel excited and makes us feel electrified and energized, and pursue that. And we're in a trap today where we are on a hamster wheel of fake energy reliance. And that is something that is incredibly harmful, because culturally it's become acceptable to push on beyond the boundaries of when we're tired, and when actually we need to re-energize and we need to take a break. And so if you look at the preponderance of fake energy drinks and the stimulants, the caffeine dependency, and all these habits that we have, which are all around, pepping ourselves up, when perhaps actually we should be nourishing and nurturing ourselves and giving ourselves a break. So it's up to us to really understand how we can create harmony in our own physiology that enables us to keep producing the energy that we need, and then to direct the energy in the particular realms that matter most. That's what's really important.
I love that individual approach that you have with that, rather than just giving everybody the basics. Yeah, get more sleep, eat healthy food, meditate, exercise. But I love the way you said that it's not just the same for everybody.
No,
and energize us. But I am such a firm believer that the way you show up matters, the way you lead matters.
exactly.
So, do you have any final parting words for our audience of how we can have unstoppable energy and work-life balance, if that even exists?
Well, I do believe we have to define what having it all means to us individually. Because if we fall into a trap of what society tells us having it all looks like, we might be down a slippery slope of chasing money or chasing a success ideology that isn't even ours. So what I encourage everyone to do is deeply go within and do the work to understand what actually does true fulfillment look like. And if we live in a way where we're honoring our values, we're going to feel fulfilled. And that won't necessarily mean chasing money or a certain type of status or extrinsic motivators, but it will be honoring our values. And if we can live our lives in harmony with what we value most, then we are so much more likely to feel a sense of peace at the end of each day, and go to sleep feeling that we have had a positive contribution to our worlds. And when we're in that state of fulfillment and peace, and we're being gracefully productive, then the whole world is a better place, and we're soaring and we're not struggling. And that's my wish for everyone, because I really believe we all deserve that and we can all achieve that.
Well said. I love your focus on our values. That's wonderful. Where can people get a hold of you and your book?
Thank you. I'm going to actually show you. Well, if you can see in the background, there's mine. So this book, it is available for pre-sale now, and I've got all sorts of offers for anybody that pre-orders the book now. It's out on March the 11th. Pre-order it now, and you can come to my virtual welcome to the club party. BiancaBest.com is my website, and then follow me on Instagram, BiancaBest _, and I'm on LinkedIn, Bianca Best, Twitter, all over the place. And I'm just starting TikTok as well, so I'm learning how to be on social. So yeah, please come along, follow me. Please buy the book. I have a dream of becoming a bestseller, and if it hits bestseller status on March the 11th, I've promised my kids I will buy them a puppy, and we're going to get a Dalmatian. So there's a lot hanging on it.
Big Impact Without Burnout. I am signing up for that book for sure. Bianca Best, thanks for being a fabulous guest on the Whole CEO with Lisa G show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a total pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for coming to the show. You know what fuels my leadership focus? This episode is brought to you by Magic Mind. I hit a wall last year, couldn't focus, sleep was terrible, and stress was off the charts. Magic Mind's focus and sleep shots were a game changer. Just for today only, you can get a 45% off with my link, Magic Mind, Lisa G Fit January. So that's magicmind.com, Lisa G Fit January, because strong leadership starts with energy.